All right, it is Beneil Dariush. Beneil, my goodness. I mean, I don't even know how to say it. What a damn performance against Mateusz Gamrot. I mean, that is a dangerous guy, and you were absolutely dominant, man. How are you feeling a couple days later? I imagine you got to be pretty satisfied with yourself.
Praise God, man. It was awesome. And then just getting back home, it was a long flight, and getting back home and just being home, I'm very happy.
I bet. I bet. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I was worried coming in, man. You took this fight. You didn't have to take this fight. This was, you didn't need to take this fight, but you did it. And I think Mateusz is a dangerous guy that's going to be a contender in the division for a long time. So, I mean, I know you believe in yourself, but what was your confidence level coming in? I mean, were you worried at all about this guy who, again, a fight you didn't have to take?
I was I'm a little bit like, broken in here. Like I just genuinely believe I could beat anybody all the time, and I really thought like I was pissed at people for doubting me, like almost kind of the deal. I was like, why am I the underdog here? Like, what the heck's going on? And I'm like, anyways, I was pretty angry about the whole, not angry, but I was pretty like, whatever. I'll show these people, how I'm the underdog. But I, I can't hold on to that ranking. It's not mine. It's put there, but it's not mine. It's gonna go away someday. And the fact that I'm just trying to hold on to it, it's like trying to hold on to smoke. It's gonna go away someday, and you just have to be confident enough that you got here for by your efforts and your skills, and you can stay here with your efforts.
What a great way to say it. I wish more people had that attitude about it because I think some people do like to hang on to that ranking. So, I mean, overall, your execution. I mean, anything that surprised you. I mean, if there were doubters, I think you proved it there. The grappling, the defensive grappling. I mean, everything was just on point. Anything surprised you in there, or how happy were you with what you did?
I was actually really surprised with his speed and his ability to get to my legs. He got onto my got to me like 19 times according to the stats, and he took me down a few times. I was actually pissed about that. I worked so hard for this fight. I was like, he's not taking me down. The last 3 weeks of camp, no one took me down pretty much. I think maybe one or two takedowns, and I was like, all right, no one's taking me down. And the fact that he was able to take me down kind of pissed me off. But I also had like a million things ready for when I get taken down, and how to counter everything. So it was one of those things.
Yeah, well, you look fantastic. You get to dominant win, no question about it. Then you get to sit back and you get to watch the title fight, right? You get to see Islam Makhachev kind of shake up the division with the win over Charles Oliveira. Give me your thoughts as you were watching that. I mean, I think we're all pretty impressed with his performance, but what did you think watching that?
I was really impressed with his performance and his stand up specifically. And what I really like about him is just basics. His basics are so good. His step back left, his right hook followed by right hook, his ability to stay tight and move his head. Like he just does all the little things that you need to do. He does them all well, and so he looks amazing. And that's what it is. And I was a little bit surprised with Charles. He didn't keep any distance. He kept going forward and getting so close to him. But I'd love to ask Charles, like, what was the game plan for the fight?
Yeah, it was a little bit surprising. The aggression almost kind of worked against him this time. We've kind of come to like that wildness out of him, but it
Yeah,
kind of played against him this time around.
yeah, exactly. So, and it wasn't just you could be aggressive, but at like that middle distance, why so close? It was almost like Charles was the one who was clinching with him. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? Why do you need to clinch with him? You have great knees, you have great kicks, you're everything's good. What's the point? But maybe Islam puts on pressure like we just don't know. And so I can't wait to find out.
All right, so listen. So you watch it, you're impressed. You're like, wow, doesn't look great. And are you going? Can't wait to line this fight up. Yes, I got my title fight, and then you see Alexander Volkanovski walk in the cage. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe it was predictable, right? He was there as a backup. I mean, did you think into yourself like they're definitely going to line this fight up, or did that kind of shock you a little bit?
It didn't shock me. Obviously, I had a feeling they were gonna do that, but my eyes rolled back like so far. I was just like, "Oh gosh, man." I was bummed. I get like why the UFC is doing it. Financially, it makes a lot of sense. It's a very big fight. They can easily promote it. They're doing it in Australia. I get it. It's just it sucks for me because I also, I did what I needed to do. I never said no to a fight. I showed up and did everything I need to do. But listen, I love working with the UFC. I love fighting the best guys in the world. So instead of being a crybaby, I want to go sit down with them and talk to them and see what we can do and how we can, make this work. And that's the game plan for next week.
I love it. So I know you said the number you can't hold on to, but the new one came out. You're number 4. I mean, at least it feels like you're getting some respect. I mean, top 5 does mean something, but were you happy, or are you like, come on, man, we could have been a little higher than that?
It's whatever, man. I don't care. It's in reality, I think I'm number 1 contender. That's what I think. Number 4 is like, okay, look at that list. I think only Chandler has 1 win. He's on a 1 fight win streak. Okay, against the guy I've also beat. I'm on an 8-fight win streak, and here's the thing. Here's the difference. For example, when I fought Diego Ferreira, undefeated for 6 years. Mateusz, 5-fight win streak. All these guys I fought, except for Tony, were streaking. They were winning. And so it's a little bit frustrating. But whatever. I in my opinion, I am not just number 1 contender. I think I'm the best in the world. So who cares what the number says?
I love it. I love that attitude. Well, listen, coming out of it, I mean, once it was determined, okay, it looks like Volkanovski can get this title fight. Everything I saw was, well, Beneil Charles Oliveira sure seems like an awfully nice number 1 contender fight. I mean, do you think that's the fight that makes the most sense? And I guess if we're going to keep extrapolating a little bit before you have your meeting, wouldn't it make sense to be on the Makhachev Volkanovski card? Maybe you could get tapped as a backup if anything was necessary. If not, you're at least on the same timeline. I mean, does that just seem like the easy way to do things?
I think so. Obviously, ideal world, I get the title shot, and that's what I want. But if not, yeah, put me on there, and I'll fight Charles, no problem. The only issue is with me right now is Charles going to be able to turn around fast enough? Like, that's what I'm worried about. I know he said he wants to come back and fight. You come home, take a couple of days off, and you see where you're at physically. It's going to be really up to him if it's going to be the case. But I really do want to turn around and fight as quickly as possible. And the quickest I can do is actually in Australia. February is the best for me. It doesn't have to be Australia, but February is the best for me. I'd like to fight February.
I mean, if it's not Charles, would you want to be on that card at least? So at least you're an option maybe as a backup, or at least you're there and you're on that same timeline?
Listen, now you're starting to get me in trouble because they keep telling me shut your mouth and don't talk about anybody else. But yes, I do. I'm not going to say any names because I promised I wouldn't say any names. Don't mention anybody's names. I won't mention anybody's names. But yeah, I want to be on that card. So like I said, I really want to have this meeting on Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. I don't know. I'm supposed to meet with them next week. See what they want from me, what the next step is, and then just go forward from there. But February is ideal for me.
I love it. Well, listen, the great thing is there was a time in your career not that long ago where you were the guy whose name wasn't getting mentioned, right? I mean, people would be naming off all these names, and it's like, why are we not talking about Beneil Dariush? Now, at least, your name is in every single conversation in some form or fashion.
Exactly. It took me a long time to get here, and it was, I think it was by merit that I'm here, and I prefer it this way. It's more satisfying, and man, ultimately, I need to be a good example because one day I plan on having a lot of kids. Right now, I have 1 daughter. I have 1 more daughter on the way. I plan on having a lot of kids, and I have to be a good example to my kids. If my kids look back at my interviews, at my fights, I don't want them to be like, oh, I live with a hypocrite. That's one thing I have. Another thing is too, like, the same thing with the world. I don't want kids to think like, oh, I gotta be a YouTube star, I gotta be a TikTok, I gotta smoke weed, I gotta act a certain way. No, man, you have to work hard, trust the process, trust God, and move forward like that. I don't I want to be that example. You know, it's just it's hard to see like a 15-year-old or 16-year-old looking at that direction at such a young age, and it sucks, man. So that's my that's something that really does, like, you know, play out in my head a lot.
I love it, man. You are that shining example, man. You continue to be. So, all right. So let's talk about what really matters. All right, MMA, it matters, you know. But look, it's life that matters. It's family that matters, right? I know you're happy to be back home after that long journey. What's on the docket? Is there a vacation in line? Is it just back to the daily grind? What's family life like right now?
So I leave in 3 weeks for a mission trip to I think it's the Philippines, Cambodia, and Vietnam, right? So I got
Wow,
that, but for these 3 weeks, I got to spend time with my wife and daughter. So whatever they want to do, I want to. San Diego is really close by. I want to take them to San Diego. I don't know. I need some ideas actually. If I don't check my social media a lot, but in the next after a fight, I try to stay up because people reach out to me, and I try my best to answer as many as I can. So if anybody has some good ideas around Southern California, please let me know.
I love it. Well, some hard-earned time off for sure, man. You did the job, and whatever comes next, it's going to be a big fight. We know that a number one contender fight, a title fight, something. We know something big's coming next.
Exactly. So whatever it is, I look forward to it.
Awesome. Well, Beneil, congrats. I really appreciate the time as always. Go enjoy that family time. Enjoy the mission. Incredible work that you continue to do outside of the cage. And we look forward to getting the news. Maybe after that meeting on Wednesday that we get some announcements.
Maybe we'll have to talk then.